PEL fans, welcome once again to another wonderful, illustrious, fun, Primetime Elite League live show. Primetime Elite League live show brought to you by Gary Shoes, former employer of Al Bundy, who now tries to get on the train that he's a great GM and celebrity. We do it for free. We feel sorry for Gary. Who the hell was Gary anyway? And I'm just doing this because no one's watching yet. And then on playback, maybe you'll get a slight little laugh or two. Who knows? Anyways, before we get started on tonight's show, we're going to do the power rankings. And I'm sure a lot of people have been excited to see the first edition of the PEL Power Rankings. And on tonight's show, because it's the first edition, I'm going to talk about every team. Typically, what we do is we typically talk about the top 10 teams only. And then going forward, that's what we'll do. We're only going to talk to the top 10 teams. I'll talk about them. Everyone else will just kind of get a little mention where they are ranked in the power rankings. After that, we're going to talk about recent trades made because there's been a lot of movement in the PEL. We're going to go over trades that have been made. I'm going to go through the trade block. Talk about some guys that are available out there, see if they're, maybe good for your squad. And then finally, possibly, we will have somebody live call in and talk to us about their team and some moves they made and talk a little bit about the league and, some things like that. Also, I'll be taking your questions throughout, so please just post in the group me chat if you have any questions, comments, or anything along those lines that you'd like to say. And I got a gnat flying around at me. Get one thing straight because I only got one person, so I'm gonna handle a little bit of work here. Bear with me 1 second. Very busy man. I wear a lot of hats. A lot of hats. I have a lot of keys. And let you know how important I am. Exciting stuff, isn't it? Riveting. All right. So now, whoever my one person is, we will jump into the power rankings, and I'm gonna get a lot on the playback, so I'm not stressing it too much. So first edition of the power rankings, we're gonna start. Number 32 are the Jets, and of course the Jets have been open for a while. I had a guy that was interested before, and he just disappeared. So I really don't know what that was about. And then the first guy, like I said before, he just couldn't join in a invite, so that was really special. But the Jets are 32. 31 are the Bengals. I actually just played the Bengals, and I'm really surprised that he hadn't won a game because he had a lot of deeper passes on me, and for some reason my DBs were in la la land, but we ended up coming around in the fourth quarter, and he told me that a lot of his games have come down to the fourth quarter. He has a couple of critical turnovers and just ends up losing it. So, hang in there. He's a really good guy. I enjoyed talking to him. 30 are the Broncos, and, offensive woes with the Broncos. Trevor Siemian is not going to be the quarterback there much longer. I'm sure he's going to draft somebody, and that's where I would do too. 29 are the Rams. The Rams, they're in a tough division. Despite the 49ers being down, it's a good user. Seahawks are a good user. And the Cardinals just joined, and we'll talk about him in a second. But it's a good division. And, just got to get your feet under you and hang in there. 28 are the Chiefs. Glad to see they won a game, even though they've decided to kind of rebuild a pretty good team. But you're getting a lot of picks, and the thing I always say about building in CFM is the best time to get a lot of picks is in that first draft, because that's going to be the players that stick with you pretty much the whole time during the whole CFM. Um, 27 are the Tennessee Titans, and off to another rough start. And thank you, Levi, for being the one person that's watching. I don't know how many we're up to now, but um, that's much appreciated. At least I can count on you to participate. um, and with the Titans, it's been turnovers, and I watched this game particularly with the Raiders, and he was up in that game playing well, but then just started turning the ball over, and when you turn the ball over, it's hard to overcome and win a game. So you got to work on that a little bit. 26 are the Bears, and the Bears have shown a little bit more offense, but the defense has kind of let them down a little bit. Saw they re-signed Jordan Matthews to a big deal. I'm glad they are happy with him. But they're in a tough division in the NFC North. Those other three teams are playing well. 25 are the Colts. The Colts are 1-4, but they did win today. They'll go to 2-4, and these are based on after Week 5 stats. I didn't update Daddy League because I wanted everyone to be at the same level. But the Colts have played some tough games, and that roster needs a little bit of help. I think after the draft, they may see them start moving up in the rankings a bit. 24 are the Panthers. When I played the Panthers, they were a pretty good team and made a lot of moves. I'm a Panthers fan, and I'll just say there were some moves that I wouldn't have made. But like I said, in the PEL, you build your team your way. So I'm sure they'll get it right. They're going young, and for whatever reason, everybody in CFM likes to go young, and I'll get to my philosophy later on about that. But that's what they want to do, so they're going with it. And I just said, don't trade Cam Newton, because if you trade Cam, I'm bringing Urkel back, and nobody wants Urkel in here. God, nobody wants Urkel in here. He is so terrible. And that's another. I'm all in tangent. I'm sorry. I said I was going to stay focused. I'm going to stay focused. 23 are the Eagles. That record is kind of deceiving because they've played some teams tough. And, he's been a good member of the league so far. I appreciate him being here. Like I said, with the Colts, this roster needs a little bit of love, a little bit of support. And, once that time comes, like I said, some of these teams just need an off season. And I'll get to that later. That goes into my philosophy. I'm going to save that. 22 are the Cardinals. Welcome to the league, Mr. Nice Guy. And I saw he was inactive in the chat, which I appreciate. Being new sometimes that's tough, but looks like he's going to fit in pretty well. And he won his first game, and that's why he's at 22. That was an impressive debut. Glad to have you, man, and appreciate you joining. I got the Bears on here twice. What am I doing? God, I'm so messed up. All right, so whoever I miss, they're number 21. All right, can't look right now. Like I said, this is not a professional production. 20. Oh man, number 20 are the Texans. Deshaun Watson is the quarterback there. I know he was looking for a safety. I don't know. I have to go into transaction to see if he got a safety. We'll do that in a minute. But I know he was looking for one of those. So if you got a safety, make sure you hit him up. And he was trying to upgrade his secondary after a really tough loss to the Titans at the last second. We've had some couple of really interesting finishes here that we'll get to later on. Number 19 are the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Amazing what happens when you play a game to win. So, good job, Blake. Way to get it done, man. Good job. Play more games, you'll move up. See, I play him after my bye, and I'm sure I'm going to lose now because I'm making fun of him. It's usually how it goes for me, especially with these sorry-ass Bills. Number 18 are the Saints. And, I think I saw the Saints won today. I have to double-check. But like I said, this is based on Week 5 ranking and Week 5 standings. And, with the Saints, they picked up Shaq Lawson from me in a trade that helps them out. They've got to get a quarterback for the future, and I think they're going to do that in the upcoming draft. Excuse me. I got to see how AP's doing. I hadn't seen his stats, but we'll get to that later Number 17 are the Falcons, and they're moving up because they're starting to get a feel of the game. I saw today they played. They shut out the Dolphins, which helps me out. Thank you, Jeff. Appreciate that. And of course, we're gonna have to go through Jeff's 975 trades when we get to transactions later on. Number 16 are the 49ers, and the 49ers are 3-2. And note now, keep in mind, there's a couple of sim wins in there, which made them very happy. But they did win a game on the field, so I gave them the benefit of the doubt on that one. So they're in a good position to compete in the NFC with that record right now, and maybe they make some moves to upgrade the roster and continue to move up. Number 15 are the Dolphins, and the Dolphins have made some moves here and there. Saw he made a couple of moves today that we'll get to in transactions that I thought were interesting. But still, this is another team that okay, Saints lost. Okay, I got you. Thank you for the update, Jeff. I'll get to that in a minute. But the Dolphins are a team that they need a little more help in the offseason with that roster, like I said. And I think he's going to be right there, though, in the end. I know he's a good player, and sometimes you're handicapped by the roster. So he's going to be there in the end. 14 are the Packers. And I want to say thank you for diversifying your offense. I started watching some streams here when I had a minute. And the Packers are not running 75 posts like they did in Madden 17. So thank you for that. It's much appreciated. And, he's mixing in some run really well. And like I said, that's a really tough division in the NFC North. That's going to be a fun race to watch throughout the duration of the PEL this year. Number 13 are the Patriots. Jeff Kane, 3-2 on the year, playing much better football. Definitely am glad to see that. He took some beatings last year in Madden 17 when he had the Packers. But, sometimes when you have your hometown team, you play a little harder, you got a little more pride. And, he's showing that right now, and that's awesome to see, man. Good job. Number 12 are the Dallas Cowboys. Lost a tough game earlier, one of the last games in Week 5 to the Packers. But, at 3-2, they're right there as always. Of course, Zeke Elliott and that offensive line is a tough thing to deal with. Picked up Jerry Hughes when I cut him for salary reasons. And, of course, the cheapskate would take him for free. But anyways, I give a Gape a lot of hell, but that's because I've known him for a long time. He's a really good guy, despite the fact that he's cheap in dealing with trades. He's and everyone in here is a pretty good guy. If you were a jerk, you wouldn't be here. That's just being honest. Number 11 are the Giants. 3-2 record. I think he lost a couple of close games there. They might be undefeated, to be honest with you. But pretty good players, always going to be there. Off to a pretty good start this year, right there in the middle of it in the NFC. Now you got the top 10. All right. So normally that those first 22 teams, I would just say the name and just keep it moving. So top 10 are the ones that normally get the recognition in the power rankings. So here we go. Number 10 are the Jaguars, off to a 4-1 start. I don't know if they played today or not. I hadn't checked all the scores just yet. But the Jags have made several moves, and their secondary looks really tough. And I made a joke with them, and I said, "Are you trying to rebuild the Soul Patrol?" Because my secondary last year in Madden 17 was called the Soul Patrol, because they were all black guys that were really talented. So, I think he's got the same thing going on in Jacksonville right now. But, they're going to be, Jacksonville is a underrated Madden team, and, they've got good talent, and he's got the quarterback he wants, and we'll see how it goes as time goes on. Number 9 are the Browns. Browns, really good user. I'm glad you are safe. I'm glad you got power back after dealing with Hurricane Irma. And just a shout out to everyone that had to deal with that, especially down here in the Southeast. I think everyone's affected from Florida. We got a lot of people in Georgia near Atlanta. I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina, if you didn't know. Effects for us weren't that bad, but I know they were a little bit more worse as you went further south. So Glad everyone's okay as far as I know. I hadn't heard anyone with any huge issues. And the Browns, like I said, is a good guy, and he's playing really well with the rookie quarterback in Deshaun Kaiser. Number 8, yours truly, Buffalo Bills. We're 4-1. One tipped BS catch from 5-0. And we get it done. Most of our games are ugly. Defense has been pretty good most of the season. Offensively, we're starting to turn it around a little bit. Got some help we made with some deals. And then our roster, like I said, I've got practice squad guys on my roster right now. We don't have a lot of depth. If the wrong people get hurt, we're in big trouble. I got a D tackle hurt right now that's killing our run defense, and hopefully he's back. And we got a bye. I think he misses one more game after the bye, so we got to get through that. But otherwise, I'm proud of these guys. We're making sugar out of shit. As the saying goes. Number 7 are the Detroit Lions. And he got on me a little bit with a comment I made in the storylines, and I was just having fun with the storylines. The storylines aren't really meant to be serious. The live shows are more a serious analysis. And, I like, Kendall. Like I said, I covered him when he played high school football here in Charlotte. He plays he plays college ball up in Connecticut. I'll have to get him to get some game film out so we can see him in action. I think he plays corner up there. So, really good kid. Really good kid. He's a good player. All right, number 6 are the Vikings, and I think the Vikings have sent a DM to every person in the league about Dalvin Cook being available. And, I'm kind of surprised, to be honest. He's a superstar development guy that's 22 years old, and no one seems to want him. So, I think that's a little interesting, but I thought somebody would have jumped on that. But, in Madden 18, with the running game improvements, I guess you could take pretty much almost any running back and do pretty well. So, that asking price must be high. He sent me a DM. I don't need a running back. I've got, Shady McCoy for a couple years at least. And then I'm going to draft somebody to go, develop behind him. So, oh well, man, somebody will take him. I don't know who. Good luck. But you've been playing well. All right, top 5. Number 5 are the Raiders. And like I said, I've seen him a couple times play. I really like his game. Ground attack first. He likes to run the ball, establish a run, and then Derek Carr is a good quarterback, and Amari Cooper. Once you establish the run, you got to respect it, and that opens up the passing game. So, kind of an old school vibe to his game. But he's 4-1. Big game this week coming up with the Chargers. I don't know if they've played yet or not, but that would be for first place in the AFC West. Number 4, the Redskins. Redskins are undefeated. I think they got a sim win in there. That's why I had them at number 4 among the undefeated teams, but I think he's had a bye week also. Rag Job is a good player. Has been here for a while. And that's his hometown team. And they're playing well so far. He was looking for some D-line help. If you got D-linemen, hit him up. See if he's interested. Number 3. And you were really waiting for this. I hope you're watching because the Seahawks are number 3, led by Ben. And Ben has been probably one of the bigger whooping boys in Madden 17. And, it's good to see him have that success. Seahawks are a really good team. Obviously, you've got a ton of talent. And they're on top of the NFC West right now, playing very well. Keep that thing going. Number 2 are the Pittsburgh Steelers, led by Joshua Dobbs. And I thought a rookie quarterback having an undefeated team, and he beat the Vikings, and he beat another good team. That really impressed me. That's why he's at number 2 in the power rankings. We'll see how long that lasts, because supposedly it was supposed to be where quarterbacks that didn't have good ratings didn't, perform that well. But, with the balance of Le'Veon Bell and the other talented guys to help him out, Antonio Brown, and then a good defense, you can get by with a rookie quarterback, and you play it conservative and take your shots when you get a chance. And that's what they've been doing. And number 1 in the power rankings, no surprise, are the San Diego. I was laughing at the guy on ESPN that kept doing it last night. Are the Los Angeles Chargers, led by Deontay. And he asked me today, and y'all saw it in the chat, could I move Mike Williams at 95 speed? Why would I do that? You're 5-0. You're the best team in the league in the power rankings. You don't need any help. No, you get no help. No help. And I wouldn't do it anyway. So, anyways. Alright, guys. Those are the power rankings. And let's jump into some transactions. And like I said, going forward, I'll only talk about the top 10 guys. That's kind of the incentive, for being top 10 in the power rankings. You get a little something said about you. And that's what we're going to do every 4 weeks. This week it ended up being 5, but every 4 weeks usually is what we do the power rankings. Alright, so let's go into some trades here. And I'm going to kind of scroll down. If you got some, I see one comment. Ben says, I'm watching. Number 3, that has also never been that high. Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm proud of you. Pick a good team, that's what happens. I'm just kidding, man. You've been playing really well. Alright. Alright, so the last trade I talked about was my trade with the Ravens. So, alright, so we got a Vikings-Falcons trade. Falcons trade halfback Corey Grant to the Vikings. And Falcons trade cornerback Ryan Poole to the Vikings. Falcons trade a first-round pick to the Vikings. And the Vikings give up Xavier Rhodes and a third-round pick to the Falcons. So the big pieces there. First-round pick, the Falcons give up. The Vikings giving up Xavier Rhodes. That gives the Falcons another good corner. Obviously an outside guy, a top corner. To go with that good defense. And the Vikings pick up another first-round pick. They also had a first-round pick from the Teddy Bridgewater trade. So the Vikings now with 2, possibly 3 firsts if they still have their own. So the Vikings stockpiling picks. Another Falcons trade, imagine that. Falcons trade cornerback Jalen Collins to the Jaguars. Falcons trade linebacker Travis Feeney to the Jaguars. And the Jaguars trade Telvin Smith to the Falcons, and they trade a 2nd and a 7th round pick. I looked at this trade, and at first I was like, But then I remember the Jags saying he's going to miss some drafts, so that's why he's giving up these picks. And then I looked at Jalen Collins, and I was like, Jalen Collins was really rated high. And if y'all didn't know, he's not playing because he's out on the league on drug charges. So I was like, well... It's a fair deal when I saw Collins, but then I was like, oh, money. I should just erase him from the league and make it real, but no, I won't do that. All right, so then I made a trade, and this trade made the Chiefs very jealous. So I traded Captain Muddle into the Bengals, and I picked up a defensive end, a young defensive end, a rookie, in Jordan Willis, and a third-round pick from the Bengals. The Bengals are really wanting another corner to help their secondary. Willis is a good young defensive end and a third-round pick. It's whatever. Good deal for both sides there. Both got what they wanted. Okay, another trade. 49ers trade linebacker Eli Harold to the Jaguars. Jags trade 2nd-round pick to the 49ers. I remember seeing Eli Harold. He's a pretty good player. And like I said, Kyle's going to miss some drafts, so giving up picks, I can see that. Getting known values for your draft picks if you're going to miss is a good way to go. Keep that in mind. All right, another Falcons trade. Imagine that. Bengals trade halfback Jeremy Hill to the Falcons. And on the Falcons trade D-tackle Rashid Hageman to the Bengals. Deal that helps out both sides. The Bengals D-line did need some help. Jeremy Hill's a power back on the last year of his contract. That's a fair deal for both sides. All right, Chiefs trade. Chiefs and Cardinals here. Chiefs trade cornerback Terrence Mitchell to the Cardinals. And the Chiefs trade a 6th-round pick to the Cardinals. The Cardinals trade a 2nd-round pick to the Chiefs. And the Chiefs trade Philip Gain. Oh, no, I'm sorry, it's a different deal. Okay. So we got Terrence Mitchell from the Chiefs to the Cardinals, and a 6th-round pick to the Cardinals, and the Cardinals give up a 2nd-round pick to the Chiefs. Terrence Mitchell's a talented player. That 6th-round pick, getting that from the Chiefs definitely is a bit of a bargain there, I believe. I think the 2nd straight up would have been good enough, but it's a 6th-rounder, no big deal there. All right, a couple more Falcons trades if you didn't, need to hear more. Chiefs trade cornerback Phillip Gaines to the Falcons. Falcons trade a 4th-round pick to the Chiefs. So Chiefs get another pick, and Phillip Gaines' physical talent, kind of lacking on the skills, goes to the Falcons. And, of course, the final trade, has to be another Falcons trade. The Falcons trade a 2nd-round pick and linebacker Telvin Smith to the Dolphins. And the Dolphins, the Dolphins trade Ndamukong Suh. That is interesting. Suh is probably the best interior lineman in the game. And Telvin Smith's a very good outside backer, and a 2nd-round pick there's to kick the value. It's a fair deal, but I'm surprised the Dolphins would trade Suh. My philosophy on superstars is you keep superstars, no matter how old they are. And I know in Madden that is a little different. But and I'm gonna go into my philosophy before we go to the next part, because I got 3 minutes before we hit the next segment. I actually do plan segments. That part's professional. Anyways, so my belief is get your draft picks early in year 1 and year 2. Veteran guys can help you bridge the gap. A lot of people look down on veterans, but I like veterans, and especially veterans that have the right developments, because you guys have got to look at the differences in regression this year. It's not the same as it was in Madden 17. These guys are not going to turn into just straight garbage after a year or two. You can still find value in there. And I'm not going to give up too many more secrets, but that's just my philosophy. Veterans aren't always terrible. And, make the most out of them. Plan your roster out. Look at your moves. You should be scouting it and putting your draft board in priorities right now. And, really look at the guys that are on 1-year deals, guys you don't want to re-sign. Those are areas you want to draft. And, prepare for, someone coming in and get them ready to play and start earning that more higher XP. And speaking of XP, we've got these issues going on, and it's kind of disappointing because I don't know why they would release a game that has these kind of XP issues, especially for CFM. They already put all these damn resources in MUT. I don't know what the hell you call it. Madden Ultimate Team is the proper name. So they put all these resources into that, and all we want in CFM is our shit to work right. Is that right? All we wanted is to work, and you don't give a shit as it is. Just let it work right. That's all I want. So that's why I did the development thing the other day. And if it doesn't change, we're gonna stay at 300 for year 2, because people are getting screwed on XP. The values of stuff ain't right, and I don't want to lose a year of max XP when XP is just not right. And that's the lifeblood of an online CFM. So, we'll see if it's fixed in the next patch. But they just did one patch, and it's going to take them a while to do another one. So we may stay at 300 again in year 2. Okay, and that's something we can talk about as we go forward. So, any more feedback in the chat? Kind of going through. I don't see too many comments. What did I say about the Buccaneers? All I said, Blake, was it's good that when you play your games, you win, and then you can move up in the rankings. And then I said you're probably going to beat me next week because I'm talking junk about you. We play in week 7, so I see the Raiders laughing at the Seahawks. See, Raiders, you don't understand, man. Let's call him Brian. Ben was a whooping boy for the 49ers. And, the 49ers, last Madden, it was a huge building job. And he built them up, and he really put some resources in that offensive line. But, the offensive line play, obviously, excuse me, wasn't as great in 17 as it is in 18. Line play is really paramount in Madden 18. So really make sure you guys build up your offensive lines. You got to have that. And while I'm on that, you guys do know about the center being the most important offensive lineman, and it relates to blitz pickup. And I'm going to share an article after this. But right now we got a caller calling in, and I'm going to hope this works. I got the volume all the way up. All right, caller, are you with us?
Hey, Coach.
All right. So what we got, guys, I'm going to turn the volume all the way up if you can't hear. We've got with us the owner of the Falcons on the phone, and if I had the fancy graphics, I'd put the little graphic up, but I don't. And that is the co-commissioner of the league, Jeff. And how you doing, man?
I'm doing good.
Good.
Yeah, good video.
Oh, yeah.
I'm liking it.
All right.
A lot of transactions.
Yeah, so talk to us about your philosophy with all these trades that you're making.
Well, I'm trying to mix and match young guys and old guys. I got, with Sue, I needed him, I need some pass rush. My pass rush has been non-existent.
Right.
So, I played the Dolphins, and I got plenty of pass rush. Adding Sue, it opened up other guys.
Right.
Beasley had 3 sacks. McKinley had a sack. Jared was getting pressure. Sue had a sack. So it changed the whole line just by adding one guy.
Wow, man. And that makes sense because, you got to kind of shift your protection to, account for him, and then everyone else has got one-on-one matchups, and, your DNs are pretty good.
That's correct. And then Xavier Rhodes, he was a lockdown. He got an interception. He helped out Trufant, and then I got offered in the slot nickel. So with his speed, that's where I wanted him to begin with. Mm-hmm. And so that works out well. And then I'm trying to build Baker and Neal. Neal's a force, with his hit power.
Right.
And Buda Baker's, he will be a force. He's just young, 21-year-old. And then my linebacker core, they're fast and young. I got to work on them, but they're getting there. Deion Jones, he's quick. He made some good tackles. And Duke Riley, I really like him. And Campbell did well. So the defense is shut down. I had a shutout, 21-0.
Yeah, I saw that, and I have to say I appreciate that because that helps me out in the AFC East.
Oh, yeah. That's right. You're welcome. Anytime.
Yeah, those guys have been on my ass this year.
Oh, I bet.
So let's look at your division in the NFC South, and you're on top at 3-2. What do you think about your other mates in the division with the Saints, Bucks, and the Panthers?
Well, the Saints, I played him, quite a few times, and he can be real tough. You just don't know when.
Right.
And we've had some like 21-20 games come down the last second. We've had real close games, so he's a worry, just because I know he's tough. Right. The Bucks, he can be tough when he wants to. Also, he's conservative play style, and so if he runs clock management correct, he can beat me. And let's see, the Panthers. I've had good success against Leaf, but never know. He might not be the next game. But I've had good success so far against him. But who knows this year? It's a new Madden, new game. I'm just now myself getting in the groove because it's been a long summer.
Oh yeah, we had to take a break from Madden 17 because everybody knows how terrible it got.
Well, I know, it's been bad, but yeah, I love my team. I finally got my hometown team. I couldn't ask for more.
Yep.
And I got the weapons I need. I got Julio, and I got my speedster JJ and Gabriel.
Oh God, everybody knows about JJ.
Oh no, he's a legend. The offensive line's getting pretty old, but we'll see how it goes. I mean, we got drafts and build them. And my fullback, he's deaf, but he's doing okay.
So talk about the history of the PEL. Go back to the beginning and remember how crazy it was when things started here, and how we had to kind of turn things around.
Oh, it was crazy. What was that other guy's name?
Moose.
Under or something?
Oh, Under. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He was a co. For y'all that don't know, I had two co-commissions with me, Moose and Under. Moose was a hothead, and then Under was this immature kid that just wanted to start fights all the damn time.
Yep, that's correct. He wanted to start a fight with everybody and wanted to make sure he was a control freak. He wanted to let everybody know that he was a boss.
Yeah.
And Moose, he was a hothead. If he lost, he got mad. It don't matter if he lost, fair or whatever way he lost, he was mad. He cried.
Yeah. So,
and he was in the same division too. I was Pats, he was Dolphins.
Oh yeah, that's right. So for y'all that don't know, it used to be called League of Legends, a dumbass name that Under wanted. So we
it confused people with thinking we were had the Bo Jacksons and the Herschel Walkers, but I liked it.
So one night it came to a head where actually Moose had some friends in the league, Under had friends and family in the league, and they all started this big fight in the chat. And I was taking a nap, and I woke up, and I know you remember this.
Yes, I do.
And I woke up, and these guys were giving out their personal addresses, and they're saying they're gonna come shoot each other. So I booted about 13 people out the chat that night from the league.
Sounds bad.
And we were left with about 16 guys, and we went on a big recruiting thing and got the league back up, and eventually we got it to a point to where it is now. And I have to tell you, Jeff, I appreciate everything you've done.
And same here. This league wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you. And this is the best league I've ever been in by far. And I've been in league since Madden started, and when the internet really, and this is the best league there is. But yeah, I've had the leagues myself back in the mid 2000s and late 2000s, and it's hard to put together. I mean, it goes to you, Coach. I mean,
well, I appreciate it, man. You guys make it easy because of the activity, and everyone, pretty for the most part, pretty much following the rules.
Passion and determination to make this league work is amazing, and I appreciate it too.
Oh no problem, man. No, it's a labor of love.
For something like this for a long time because it got so bad there with the cheese and the non-sim and the way the leagues were. It made you not even want to play anymore.
Right, most definitely.
But this brought it all back to where you look forward to something when you get off work. Just something fun. You get away from real life.
Right,
and all the stress.
And that's a great point. We do this because it's a break, and sometimes guys lose sight of that. We got all the other crap going on in our lives. Work and wives and girlfriends and school in some cases and all that. This is meant to be a break from all that. And the reason why I do all this is to enjoy the game and provide 31 other guys a great experience. And, we've got 30. We need one more.
We'll find him. Hopefully the right one.
Yeah, man.
Hopefully not the revolving door team.
Right, exactly.
But, yeah, I couldn't... this is the best league out there, and I expect it to continue to be that way.
Oh, yeah. We will get there. The only thing we need is some graphics. I gotta get an upgrade for that.
Got Cody working on some stuff too. So.
Oh yeah.
We'll have him.
All right, Jeff. We appreciate you calling in, man. It's good to share your philosophy, and it's good to have everyone meet the co-commissioner of the league.
Oh yeah, and I'm glad everybody in this league happy we got a great group of guys.
Oh yeah, most
because
definitely.
we've had some bad guys. It's about time we have a good group.
Amen, man.
But we do, and I appreciate it. And I'll talk to y'all later.
All right, thanks, Jeff, for calling in.
All right, you welcome. All right, bye.
All right, guys, and that's your co-commish, Jeff Berry, who just had a birthday. He's, like I said, he's 65. Wish him a happy birthday once again. Just kidding. All right, so before we wrap, let's go through the standings in each division. I'll talk a little bit about what I see here. All right, let's go start in the AFC. AFC North, you got the Steelers on top at 5-0. The Browns at 5-1. Ravens 1-4. Bengals 0-5. Ravens and Bengals, gotta start building, man. I know the Ravens are starting to go young. They made the trade for Peterman. I don't know if he's starting or not, but I think they need to go young. Bengals also go young. Maybe find a new quarterback for Dalton. I don't know. But Steelers and Browns are going to be there till the end, I think. Excuse me, I had this cough going on. Alright, AFC South, we got the Jags at 4-1, Texans 2-4, Titans 1-5, and the Colts now 2-4. Jags right now are running away with that division. Texans, Titans, and Colts all in the battle for second, but looking at the AFC is pretty strong, so you might want to start shifting to playing younger players in some positions and start developing those guys to get better for next year if you're those three teams. Alright, AFC East, competitive division. You got the Bills on top 4-1, Dolphins at 3-3, Patriots 3-2, and of course the Jets are open at 0-5. Whoever does join it, the Jets should play some younger players. Dolphins and Patriots are still there. Like I said, we are not that deep. The wrong injury, we're going to get screwed. So this division is still wide open, in my opinion. Patriots playing well, Dolphins a good player, and we're just, like I said, making sugar out of shit right now. AFC West, you got the Chargers at 5-0, Raiders 4-1, Chiefs 1-4, and the Broncos are 0-4. Broncos got to start playing some young guys, I think. Chiefs are already going young. Two-team race in the Chargers and the Raiders, and like I said, they're scheduled to play this week for the division lead. I think both will be in the playoffs, in my opinion. Jump to the NFC. NFC North, probably the best division overall in the NFC. You got the Vikings at 4-1, Lions at 5-1, Packers 3-2, and the Bears 1-4. Don't discount the Bears; they are a good team. They can sneak up and bite you. Packers, Lions, and Vikings, I think, are all in the mix there, obviously. And a lot of offense in the division, with the Lions and Packers especially. That race is going down to week 17 for sure. NFC South, you got the Falcons on top 3-2. We just talked to Jeff. Saints and Bucks tied for second at 2-3. The Panthers at 1-4. Falcons definitely had the most talent in the division, but like I said, I'd watch the Saints. He's a good player. Blake and the Bucks can also come up and bite you. Panthers look like they're in rebuilding mode, but they've got a talented team, so they got a plan, and we'll see what it is. NFC East, you got the Redskins, like we talked about in the power rankings, at 4-0, playing really good defense. Giants and Cowboys tied for second at 3-2, and the Eagles at 1-4. Eagles, I think you need to shift younger, play some younger guys, get those guys developed. Giants and Cowboys are right there in the mix, both talented veteran teams. And the Redskins, will see if they can continue to get it done. NFC West, Seahawks 5-0, still cruising. 49ers there at 3-2, somehow with only scoring 67 points in 5 games. Oh, jeez. Wow, okay. And then we got the Rams at 1-4, Cardinals 1-4. Cardinals are new. At 1-4, you can make a run, but I would play some younger guys in some spots there. Rams, younger guys. Niners, you still got a shot, but I'd still try to move some veterans. And the Seahawks, I think, are going to win the division. There's too much talent on that team there. All right, so 10:45, that's our show. 45-minute show tonight. Hope you enjoyed it. If you didn't see the whole thing, I'll have it up on the playback here real soon. Thanks for being a part of a great league, guys. Appreciate it.